Okay, so basically, you're playing on Lighthouse, right? The comp you're running is quite. So you have like the bull to engage and the tracer to follow up, right? That's like common sense. These two are basically need to synchronize with each other, and communicate well. Um, and then the brig obviously protects the Zen. Um, and the diva should typically be with them as well, because them three are the core. The Echo can just go around and do whatever she wants. Um, as long as she isn't like extending over in the back line or whatever. Um, so it's like these two are their own separate unit, and then these three are their own separate unit as well. They're all combined to be uh essentially like able to take many different angles and win majority of the fights if you play it right.
Yes.
Um, and
Okay.
then playing against what is this comp? Jesus. Okay. Um. So they don't have a tracer, but they do have a Farah, which is potentially a bigger threat because
I think the sim is just TPing out of spawn,
okay,
which
okay.
should be kind of standard. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's standard. But then obviously you have like the Bull and the Farah and the Mercy. Them three are technically one unit because the Bull can pile drive and then the Farah just follows up with a direct with damage boost and you basically kill a squishy for free. As long as you can like play it right. And then obviously you have the Ana to enable like anti nades or like nanos for Farah, for example, for like nano barrages and whatnot.
Okay, so you
Um,
described them. You described those three as a unit. So should they play physically together or just time?
Timing. It's
Timing.
not.
Okay. So in
They
our
don't have
comp,
to physically.
our mhm.
Okay. They don't have to physically be together, but basically they all need to be synchronized with each other to the point where if when the ball pile drives, the Farah can follow up with like a shot or whatnot.
Yep.
Um, that's kind of how it doesn't. They don't need to like physically be together. They just need to be in like one specific place.
Yeah.
They just need to be in the
Uh,
right place at the right time. And stuff
and
like that.
that's the same with our comp, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. So like
Yes, it is.
the tracer. So yours is a little bit different because you don't have a Pharaoh, but you have a tracer. But it's the same principle applies. Like the bull pile drives, the tracer follows up. Um, and then the Echo can follow up if she needs to, but the Echo will kind of just be on her own, doing like her own thing, but not
Okay.
to the point where you're like too far out from your team to be able to like help them, but in within the right ranges to um like cover the ground
Okay.
and maintain space that like your ball makes. Um okay, let's just see where's my cursor? Okay.
Boosting up.
So first obviously
There's a tracer swap.
huh?
There's a
Yeah,
tracer swap.
they changed.
Yeah, okay. So
To Tracer.
they've
Yeah.
changed to Tracer. So now they
Does
have
not.
two potential follow-ups with the ball power drive. So like you can either slam and they can come in and just one clip, or they can shoot. Like there's two different possibilities that can happen here.
Mhm.
Um, but more than likely it will be the Tracer follows up on the power drive because that's just how the synchronization works. The ball typically pairs very well with the Tracer, more than likely. But then like with a Pharaoh or an Echo, it's also good, but the Tracer is like perfect, like hand in hand for the ball. Um so obviously you take Mini. Um you take yeah, yeah. So I think honestly what Brigand Zen should have done is take this high ground here instead of walk low ground. Because holding high ground is the most important thing in this game, and you need to take it.
Yep.
Um, and your diva should preferably follow you as well. So like you three all stick together, and you should all be taking the high ground and this little space back here.
Mhm.
Um, but I see you're walking main, and then obviously their ball and diva are on their own. But you see the differences. their Ana's on the high ground. Yours isn't. So there's like a slight little issue.
I would argue their Ana being on high ground is also incorrect because they don't have a strong backline.
Yeah, I'd agree. However, Diva's util, like the boosters, she could just jump up and DM.
Yep.
So she's easily able to just negate everything. So granted that Ana alone isn't a strong backline, but they have strong protection. Because they're willing to take the risk of having a weak backline with having a decent peel from the off tank. And even like a peel from the ball, like just like a roll through or something. That can also work. Obviously, you guys should have taken high ground preferably. I'll play it a little bit just to make sure that. Okay, so the Pharaoh pre-fires the high ground. And your ball takes the high ground. I think your positioning is very mixed up actually. So personally, your ball should be where the Brigand's Zen are, and your Brigand's Zen should be where the ball is. It shouldn't be the other way around. I have no idea why the ball is on the high ground, because what is the ball gonna do here? There's nobody around. For the ball to get max value, there's literally nothing around. To be able to do anything, because like their ball is playing main, which is actually fine. So they're playing main, and then like the Faramasi is just pressuring the high ground where your ball is, and just generating ult charge for them. And like your diva is on their own. Your diva should be a little bit further back because she's kind of feeding actually. And then obviously the tracer on tracer, back here at the mini. That's completely fine. And then obviously the diva's contesting the echo, which is what should happen. But your diva is a little bit too far extended, because I think it's very comp dependent, but this comp revolves around these three sticking together at all times. And from what I'm seeing, you aren't sticking together at all times. I mean, like, the Brigand Zen are, like, don't get me wrong, like, you both are, but your diva is moving a bit far ahead. So if the diva gets out of mech, you've lost, like, an extra form of protection besides from Brig's shield. That's it. And then, basically, you're just gonna get ran over by the ball and tracer. Every time. So...
I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, why should the ball stack the lane with Tracer? Why not go coast?
Yeah, okay. So the ball could go coast, like actually. Like the ball, I don't know why the ball is playing like up here. That's such
that's obviously wrong.
That's such a weird angle I've never seen that before. I'm gonna be honest, I was a main tank and like I've never seen a ball take this high ground unless there was people on it. Which you'd then contest. You'd contest the high ground as ball, but you don't actually sit up there in first fight scenario. And that's what I kind of find. But yeah, your ball could probably like come from under here and just go around coast, and even like play point presence, and just like bait somebody out, like probably like the ball or the diva to just head to point, and then the ball can just go out, go back to the mega, which is around here somewhere, I think. And then it's just kind of you've baited out their positioning, and then you can just take advantage of it with the echo.
Yep.
But obviously I don't really see much of that, I'm gonna be honest.
And then
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to make sure that the ball isn't stacking with the Tracer, because I think Tracer dueling that Tracer for the lane with Diva support should be enough, right?
Yes.
Ball doesn't need to invest his resources.
Yeah, the ball does not need to even think about that. Like the Tracer, so the ball and Tracer should very rarely group together. They should always be split, but are able to, say for example, okay, I'm gonna just imagine this scenario. There's like a ball on point here. You have your ball playing here, and then you have your tracer on the off angle here, yeah? Basically, how this should be played is that the ball goes in, pile drives, the tracer pincers from the other angle. They shouldn't be together in terms of spacing, but they should be synchronized to follow up on each other's like engages. So like the ball would typically be the main engager, and then the tracer would follow up and clean up the kills. However, you know, the ball
exactly.
should,
Just because you said the ball should be with the tracer.
yeah. I kind of confused myself there actually.
And then could you reiterate why you think the D.Va shouldn't be playing this far again?
Okay.
Because I think if the D.Va plays back with the Brick and the Zen, she gets very little value, right? Her DM gets like 1 or 2 power rockets, while if she's far
Okay.
up, she can contest that space, she can push out the ball, and she can
So,
still
okay.
eat power rockets, and she can still create space for
So
that kind of walk.
in this scenario particularly, the D.Va should be first off with you guys, because you three are known as the core of the comp, right? So basically you all stick together. And another reason why the D.Va is a bit far ahead is because when it comes to the power rockets and whatnot, like she's only going to be able to DM like that much. What if a rocket goes above and then just flies to you and then just hits you? So it's just kind of like there's very different scenarios when it comes to it, but particularly the D.Va should. Well, first off, the reason why you're playing so far forward is because your positioning is very bad. You should not be down here. You should be up here. Like, regardless. Like, rule number 1 of this game is always play the high ground and always stick to the high ground. And you all are playing low ground. Like, the D.Va, yeah, obviously, she can just boost her up. But, like, Zen doesn't have a big jump. Brig doesn't have a big bash. Like, how are you going to get up there? Besides from having to go all the way back up the ramp, and then through. There's, like, no reason for you guys to be playing the low ground when you should be playing the high ground. It's just kind of what I think, anyway. From this comp especially, and especially on this map, rule number 1 of the supports, play the high ground. For the love of God, play it. Because the high ground is literally your best friend. So use it. Literally use it, and you will win majority of your fights. Because you have a better position. Because you are on high ground and they are not. Or they are, but you have a better angle because your D.Va has a better peel. Or, like, your tracer can clean up if somebody's jumping onto you. Something like that. It's just kind of bear that in mind. Just play the high ground a lot more. But that's what. I mean, any questions from that? Or
No.
Nope, I don't think so.
okay, cool. Okay, yeah. And now because you guys are in a very bad position, the tracer is just able to basically be a menace to you and have little to no repercussion. Whereas if you played up here, like you have good sightline of this entire place, and like I don't know, why. Wait, okay, I've got a question. Why are you guys playing low ground? Why aren't you guys playing high ground?
I think it was called. I think Zen was actually wanted to play low ground. But I don't know. No fucking clue. I think we should play Tiger too. But
Okay.
nobody actually really explained ball tracer to the team, so I think most of them are just playing like headless chickens here.
Okay, so majority of them are just playing like it's ranked. Okay.
Yeah. So just walking around.
Walking around like headless chickens. Okay.
Towards the enemy team.
Yeah.
I think like going low ground here wasn't a conscious decision anyone made. No, I suggested going high ground. We didn't.
Okay.
That's fine, right?
So yeah, I think in the Bull Tracer comp, it's usually the Zen that makes a call on rotations for the Brigand Zen. However, I think obviously I kind of want them to understand that high ground is more important than playing the low ground. And, like, I don't know why people think low ground is, like, good. It's not. It's, like, one of the worst positions you can play in the game. Because if anybody's on a higher, like, elevation than you have to, like, break the angle, you have to look at them, you have to, like... Whereas if you were on, like, either the same elevation or if you were on higher, you just have to look down or look at the same level. You don't have an issue with that. But obviously you guys play low ground. That's kind of a cause of concern. So obviously I was explaining earlier that the ball and tracer should be, like, synchronized, right? So how this actually works is the ball manages the cooldowns on, like, pile drive and whatnot, and communicates to the tracer on when it's ready. So say, like, if the ball's gonna roll through and slam into the crowd, which isn't recommended, but it's worth a try, you say, I'm rolling through, and then pile driving in 3, 2, 1, pile drive, tracer follows up. That's how it should particularly work. But obviously that comes with a little bit more practice and time of the comp and whatnot. For you to be able to, like, nail that down to a T, basically.
Yeah.
Any questions?
I don't think so.
Nopies.
Okay, cool. How far are we even in? 24 seconds. Okay. So if she either gets the first pick and gets demacked. Yeah. Okay. So, another thing, you don't all need to rotate to point. Basically, the Echo rolled first. Echo went to point first, so you let the Echo stay and cap point. The rest of you guys take position for defense. So, like, Brigand Zen, A, you're too far apart. And B, just play the high ground. I'm gonna keep repeating it because it's so important. Just please play the high ground. And obviously, I'll upload this to, like, YouTube and whatnot, and then I'll send the link into, like, whatever channel, coaching or something.
Yes.
So, okay. Any questions about basic positioning?
The tracer cap point.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
well, should echo cap point, or should tracer do it?
well, you have several speed characters in this comp. You have the ball, you have the tracer, you have several speed characters. So you have ball, tracer, and echo. Either three of these can cap point and then just roll back and take position. It's preferably you'd either want the tracer or the ball to take it because they're a lot faster than the echo. So you probably want to have the tracer because the ball is kind of a crucial part to the comp, and in order to keep being the front line to basically just keep the rest of the team alive. Oh my god, I'm so tired, bro. Right.
Yeah, I also think it should be tracer. Ball setups usually take kind of long because it's only vertical mobility to swing, and sometimes you guys to get into weird positions.
Yes.
And it can also be Echo, I think, because Echo usually doesn't play very sharp angles, right?
Yeah.
Echo usually plays around point anyway, so like on this point, for example, you can cap and then just fly up to high ground.
Yes.
Just one fly away.
Yes. 100%.
While Tracer needs to get back into the backline or onto the high ground herself, which can take a bit of time, which you would need right now.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So, basically, either ball or actually no wait, no, not ball. Either Echo or Tracer are the point, like, players in terms of, like, this. Let me just annotate that real quick. So, point. point cap. So basically, these two characters are point caps. So whichever one's closest is the one that typically gets the point. So like if the tracer is closer than the echo, then the tracer gets it. If the echo is closer than the tracer, the echo gets it. That's just kind of how it is. Any other questions, or is it cool to move on?
No, I don't have any.
I think we can move on here.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so
Changing position.
I think, okay, at this point you are, okay, you're technically 2 down because your diva doesn't have a mech, so you kind of just have to play a little bit more safer. You guys, way too far forward. Way too far forward. But obviously positioning will be flattened out and whatnot. Because you should, hold on. Okay, if my mouse wants to work, thank you. Like you usually want to be playing here. And once you cap the point, you can also play like back of like point here, but it's kind of very risky because if you guys are all holding here, right? They can either come main or come coast, and then they can just trample you. So it's just kind of risky if you want to play point, but majority of the time it's safer to just play this little high ground here. Alternatively, if you're on the opposite side, this little high ground here is also a good option. But yeah, that's kind of what.
No, nothing.
Okay. I think I'm only review Lighthouse, I think, because Jesus Lord, I'm too tired for this. But if you need any more like reviews on any map, just let me know, and I should be available if I'm not coaching myself.
Okay.
So yeah. It's also a good move that like, well, beforehand the Brig and Zen were playing this room here. That was a good like move because it's giving you extra protection. However, the Zen has moved out from that room for unknown reasons. But basically, in summary, it's basically just the Zen needs to stick with the Brig at all times because the Brig is basically the Zen's bodyguard. So wherever either the Brig goes, the Zen goes, or wherever the Zen goes, the Brig goes. So you kind of just need either the Brig or the Zen need to have good awareness of where each other are, to be able to just rotate and look out for each other, basically. But yeah.
If Bricks then are on high ground, you should be contesting that area, that cage.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, like if you were playing like up here, you'd have like the Brig just shielding, and then you have the Zen just constantly berating at this little archway here, just constantly slinging at it, just in case there was anybody here. But if there isn't, then you look around here, and just either fire at this angle or fire on the high ground, depending on where people are. You just kind of play it like by ear, I guess.
Wait for it. I'll show them. Taking off.
So actually, I want to see how the ball dies. Actually, I think I went a little bit too far.
In transit.
Just see. So the ball should be taking a different angle than the rest of the team. So like, obviously, let me just put on the spectator overlay. So okay, you guys are all bundled up together, which is kind of bad for a ball comp. You kind of want the ball to be around coast or a little bit further forward, not with the rest of the team. Like, obviously, this is good. Like, these three should be... These three should be together. This hamster should be, yeah, like around here. And the Tracer, I'm guessing the Tracer just came out of spawn, so the Tracer would probably want to be, like, over here. To pincer. If anybody rolls through, if anybody comes through main, but other than that, like, you want to be holding, you basically, so like the Bull and Tracer follow up on each other's engages, and these three stick together like glue. And then obviously the Echo just kind of plays within safeguards, but able to do what she needs to do. Okay. We keep watching. Okay. Okay, now I see how the Bull died. So the Bull basically just got booped behind cover to the point where it made the power drive useless, and then she had no utility to get out. You kind of need to have good management of your ability cooldowns. Acknowledging like when you have it. So like, for example, right then, if you were gonna power drive, you have to make sure that you have either grapple or adaptive shield to be able to get out. And occasionally you do get melted with adaptive shield, so more than likely you'd need the grapple to just get out of that situation. But obviously they didn't have either. Because they used it to get into the fight rather than get out. It's the same situation with Winston as well. You use the jump to get in, but not to get out. Whereas how you should play Winston is the other way around. You basically like engage, like walking, and then like if you need to get out, you jump. But obviously, okay, so you're 3 down. Yeah, you're 3 down.
Focus with me.
4 down. Okay, yeah, the fight is basically lost. So like, these two should either die or try and back out to a safe angle to regroup with the rest of the team. So yeah. Alright. Let's see, obviously, like, the rest of the team are coming back. But you're backing out, which is a smart decision because you're only 3. And then they're, like, 4 or 5. Let's see. So obviously the D.Va, like, contests. Let me get a better angle. Okay, so the Bull was... Okay, I'm gonna ask because I wasn't actually at the scrum. Did the Bull communicate when they were gonna power drive and whatnot?
I don't distinctly remember.
So.
Okay.
It's really hard because Ball is also a primary shot caller, and I would also like input from you on that. Because in previous teams, I've had the issue of Ball also calling rotations for the core because they're getting really caught up in their own shot calling.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna say is the Bull should only communicate when they're engaging, and it should only be the Tracer that acknowledges the engagements because they're the ones that are going to be closest to follow up.
I'll be back now.
No
You
worries.
guys can carry on if you want.
Alright, no worries. So the Bull communicates they're engaged, their pile drive, their whatever. And the only person that should actually, like, pay close attention to that should be the Tracer. Because the Tracer is going to be the one that cleans up what the Bull is going to engage. Say, for example, the Bull was going to power drive the Ana, which just happened. However, they got slept. The Tracer would have to go up and also follow up on the power drive to be able to secure the kill. However, I'm guessing, they didn't actually communicate their power drive at all, right?
Probably not.
Yeah, because from what I can see, the rest of the team are all the way back here, and the ball is already in their back line. So I doubt there was any communication there. I'm gonna be honest, but But yeah. So like another thing that needs to be improved on from what I remember from the scrims that I've rang for is communication needs a little bit of work. So obviously you have like the main tank is the main shot caller. However, depending on comp is dependent on shot caller. So like, say for example, bull comp, you only call your engagements. If it's brawl, you call the rotations for every single player on your team. Whereas bull, you only communicate the rotations for yourself. You typically say, okay, I'm rolling around coast, I'm going around main, or I'm rolling through. Like I'm rolling through. And then obviously you communicate the power drive and the time and the countdown. You either if you're already synchronized with your tracer, you don't need a countdown. You just do it and then they follow up. However, I think obviously you guys aren't synchronized yet, so we'll go with the countdown of 3, 2, 1 now. And then what's it? Power drive, tracer follows up, gets the kill, hopefully, and then there you go. You're done. That's the engagement completed. And then you just do that every single time on a squishy. That's my opinion anyway. It's like, yeah, so
Nerf this.
Duplicating wrecking ball.
Wrecking ball. Next time.
yeah. Okay. So the bull, when they were antied and everything and had all the CC, they didn't need to just roll around. Like they could have just disengaged and went somewhere else. However, you forced the Ana off high ground, which is good actually. You don't need to roll around all the time on bull. Like spend you spend most of the time in bull form. When you can just get in like a little bit of damage on someone, which is I think is what you recognized afterwards, and then you're like, oh, okay, they should be able to like deal a little bit of damage, which is okay, but it's just kind of like the rest of your team are kind of getting dove on by a ball by two of them, two balls, and you're basically taking the fight by yourself and not with anybody else. So you kind of need to be with your team more, honestly, because like I'm kind of contradicting myself because when I say that the ball you should play like split, but you shouldn't play far apart from your team. You should be able to play at a distance where A, you can deal damage to the enemies, B, you can rotate back to your team in case you need heals or any other form of sustain from your teammates. And obviously you get mined and you force Valk.
Not good.
Yeah, so you've lost your ball and tracer, so it could be winnable. However, they have Valk up, so it's kind of losable, so you kind of just need to reset after this fight. And obviously guys are just being ran upon.
Lifting off.
Yeah, so their style of ball is a lot different to yours. Like, you guys are playing a lot slower they're playing the more they're the ones setting the tempo of the fights. They're the ones like getting the first picks. I mean, I have seen like FaZe Johnny get a couple, and other people as well, but they're obviously setting the tempo, and the difference is they have a mousey pocket on the Echo to maximize more value for the Echo. I mean, you don't even need one for her because she's dumb, but basically they just have extra utility, well, not utility, but extra like damage output because of one character. And obviously they're playing the Ana as well, so they're playing the Ana Mercy, so they can just nano like the Echo or the Bull for engages. So they'll deal more damage, but they'll take less, so you just kind of have to be cautious of that. When they nano somebody, because then they have more control over the tempo of the fight. But yeah. Actually, before I continue, is there any questions?
Yeah, I think we should be playing faster tempo though, because we have Zen and Discord, which
Yes.
is usually better for
Yes.
blowing a single target up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. Your target focus is whoever their Discord is on. So, the Zen needs to call out who they're Discorded, and then the Bull and Tracer can follow up and do the pile drive to sweep clean. And then there you go. You've got the pick, because the extra damage because of the Discord orb, it's beneficial, but obviously that will need a little bit of work, I guess, because like obviously you guys are taking the high ground now, which is very good actually, thank God. But okay, wait, let me just see. Is the Zen gonna go up high? Yeah, so the Zen goes up high as well. So okay, you all take high ground, which is good. You guys are playing the high ground, which should happen. And yeah, I think definitely from what I've noticed, your target focus is a little bit lacking. You guys are all dealing with different people. So my one little tip is, if you're playing like this bull comp with like the Zen Brig instead of like whatever, the main target is whoever the Discord orb is on. Because then you get extra damage to just completely rip somebody apart.
Adaptive sensor
Yeah.
engaged. Wrecking ball.
Yeah. So here.
Area denied.
Okay, you guys are all playing hot. You guys find the Ana. You collapsing on the Ana.
Systems in overdrive.
Okay, so Brig, I kind of don't want you here. That's kind of a very bad position you've just put yourself in. So stick with this Zen, because you are basically the Zen's bodyguard, because Zen has a very limited health pool and is easily diveable until I watch 2, but it's easily diveable, so you basically get smoked every time you play Zen, and they have like a Bull, for example, or a Tracer, or an Echo, or a Diva. They're playing all of these. Zen's not gonna have a fun time, so you kind of want to stick with the Zen.
Thought process here was pushing for the most amount of value. Obviously, I know that, but the Tracer is kind of bad because welcome to Plat. Zen's never gonna die. Zen has never died. So I figured I'd just push in, kill the Ana, because as you can see, Zen is in no danger at all here. Right?
Yeah.
I can push for more value.
Mm-hmm.
If we ever get to a level where Tracers start hitting shots, and any shots at all, yes, of course.
Then yeah, okay, cool. And then you die to the Nano Echo.
Let's wait for it.
Overtime.
See, obviously they lost that fight. Yeah. So the Zen should preferably go back to point and just wait. Or move to mini, where you are right now, Brick. The Zen should be moving into there, or staying on points. Depending on the situation. Not out in the open. Just jiggling around, I guess. Okay.
Taking off. Adaptive circuits engaged. Diva.
System malfunction. Area denied.
Nerf this.
No.
I'll show them. Nerf this. Allah till me.
Okay, so you engage with Rally. That's unlucky.
Strike.
Overtime.
But you still win this.
Speed bump detected.
Pass
Okay.
into the iris.
Yeah, that was... I think... Zen should have used trends on one of the mines that the bull casted. But other than that, there was a few little errors and whatnot. Which can be flattened out. Because majority of it, I believe, is communication and positioning. That's from what I've found from the first map. That positioning is a little bit poor. Communication between main tank and team is also very poor. I don't think there's anything else. But, okay, is there any questions? Because I think I'm going to leave it there.
Not for me. Thank you for doing the VOD.
No. Yeah.
No worries.
I hope it helps.
Hopefully. If it doesn't, then just blame me, lol.
Yep. All good, all good. I mean, we're doing ball tracer basics right now, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, so the basics for ball tracers, the ball and tracer should always be communicating with each other and where they're going. Ball engages, tracer follows up. Easy peasy. You get the kill, and then you can just go out, wait for your cooldowns, and then go again. Preferably, your main target focus should be squishies, or whoever your Zen has discorded, depending on the comp. But it's mainly squishies that you're going to go for, and focus, mainly. So, okay. That is everything from this map. I'm not gonna do another.
Yeah.
enough.
Because
I can see
I'm
that.
I'm too tired, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, have a nice evening.
Yeah,
Thank you again.
No worries.
Thank you.